And Krav Maga is a self-defense system derived from various martial arts techniques originally developed for the Israel Defense Forces. Militaries and security forces all over the world have adopted the Israeli method. Joining us in studio, as I mentioned, to tell us all about it is I-24 News culture correspondent Daniel Campos. Hi, Daniel. So from arts to Krav Maga, I don't know how we can really link these two, but it's a really amazing martial arts series of techniques. Tell us about it.
Indeed, and it also has, we can say, the cultural background to this is that Imi Lichtenfeld, who founded the art, was actually trying to create a system of defense against pogroms or riots against the Jewish community in what was Czechoslovakia back then. So that's where the roots of this comes from. He was a boxer, a great boxer, a wrestler, and his father owned one of the most modern gyms at the time. And that's pretty much the birth of Krav Maga. When he moved to Israel after 1948, he served 2 years in the British Army. He started to modify it and also adapt it for military use. And later on, after his retirement from the army, he made it for civilian use. He wanted men and women, regardless of race and gender, to be able to practice or use this for self-defense. So maybe we can have a look at the story I prepared from the first Muslim Krav Maga club in the world, which is here in Israel in the city of Bakr al-Jarabiyah.
Let's have a look.
From Brazil to Japan, from Kenya to Australia, Krav Maga has no borders. Krav Maga, meaning contact combat, borrows techniques from boxing, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu. It differs from all other combat sports in one fundamental way. There are no rules. It's about saving your own skin, and anything goes. The self-defense style was first developed by Imi Lichtenfeld, a Hungarian Jew born in 1910 and raised in the Slovakian capital of Bratislava. Imi was an accomplished boxer and wrestler who in 1930s Europe, under the threat of anti-Semitic attacks, wanted to protect the Jewish community from pogroms. Fleeing Europe, Imi arrived in Palestine in 1942. After serving 2 years in the British military in North Africa, he immediately began training the Jewish paramilitary groups that would eventually become part of the IDF. Imi would continue to work and train the Israeli army until his retirement in 1964. He then modified Krav Maga to fit the needs of police forces and ordinary civilians. Krav Maga has no color nor religion. The predominantly Arab Muslim city of Bakr al-Garbiya in northern Israel is the latest proof.
Krav Maga comes from the army, born out of events that happened around the world and sadly also here, with knife attacks taking place and other ugly events. What attracts me about Krav Maga is that it's one of many martial arts. It's not only for the army. It's just one more field which I learned and specialized in, and I believe it's important to bring it to people in my community. In our religion, we are supposed to practice sports and learn self-defense. Krav Maga is not only for the Jews, but for all the communities.
Sensei Mahdi Abu Mok has established what may be the first Krav Maga club in the Arab world. Sensei Mahdi is a former security guard and a disciplined Kung Fu expert. Today he's fully devoted to teaching in his independently owned gymnasium. The young ones here also receive lessons in spirituality and discipline.
I always tell my students that as Muslim individuals, you also represent all Muslims. And as citizens of this country who live here, you must reflect in a positive light your life as a religious Muslim, whether in your home, in the street, or at school. Before competitions, the ranking and belts, education comes first.
And so far, the parents of the students are satisfied with the results.
They tell me wow because I don't only encourage the children, youth, and adults to participate in sports, but I also care about education.
Currently in this country, do you think people should be prepared against gun attacks or knife attacks? What's more important? What type of weapon you're more likely to be attacked with in this country.
להיות תמיד מוכן.
It's always better to be prepared in case of any threat. It doesn't matter if it's a knife or a gun. You need to be ready. You never know what to expect.
יודע מה מחכה לך.
Loved that report, Daniel. So did you learn any cool moves?
I'm a fast sprinter. I prefer to run away. I'm sorry.
I think that's actually a really good tactic. So you might just stick with that. Thanks so much for this.